Alright guys, let's break down the axes a little bit better. When we deal with the longitudinal axis, remember it's from nose to tail. It's centered from nose to tail in the center of the aircraft. So if we look at it from the back, let's look at it this way. What we want to do is we want to use the longitudinal axis to maneuver the aircraft, right? So we want to make it move. So since we are from nose to tail, we are limited on how we can move. So what we have to use is these things on the very end of the tips of the wings, on one side and the other side, and these two are known as the ailerons. What the ailerons allow us to do is allow the aircraft to roll. Allow the aircraft to roll around the longitudinal axis. And that's what makes the airplane move on that axis. Alright guys, let's break down the lateral axis. The lateral axis, you can look at it as from wingtip to wingtip. You see how it's through the center of the airplane? So let's look at it from wingtip to wingtip. Wingtip to wingtip. Now, how do we maneuver around this axis? Well, this lateral axis uses the elevator. The elevator are these two tips at the very end of the tail. And the elevator, what it does is allow and control the airplane's pitch. So as we're flying, we want to maneuver around the lateral axis with the use of the elevators that are at the end of the tail tip, and we want to pitch the aircraft up and down. So this is how we go up and down on the airplane. Alright guys, now we're going to break down the vertical axis. So the vertical axis can be viewed as a line from the top to the bottom of the aircraft. Top to bottom, bottom to top. And how we use to manipulate this is the rudder, which is this top part right here. This is called the rudder, and what it does is allows us to control the vertical axis with the use of the rudder to control the yaw. So look at it like this, the yaw of the aircraft. So quick recap. Vertical axis is controlled from the top to the bottom with the use of the rudder on the tail, and what we do is we control the yaw. Recap on the lateral axis. The lateral axis, remember, it's from wingtip to wingtip through the airplane. And what the lateral axis, it wants us to use the elevator on the back of the end of the tailpiece. Right here, you have it on both sides. You use the elevator, and what we do is that we use the elevator to control the lateral axis with the use of the elevators to control the pitch along that axis. So remember, lateral, using the elevators to control the pitch. Alright, and last, the longitudinal axis. Remember, the longitudinal axis is from the nose to the tail through the airplane, and what we want to do is we want to control the longitudinal axis with the use of the ailerons on one end and on the other. We use the ailerons to move around the longitudinal axis and causing a roll. So remember, longitudinal, ailerons, and what do? We cause a roll on that axis. So remember, next time we fly, we want to fly smooth. You don't want to go all crazy along all 3 axes. That's why whenever you fly smooth and everything is in control, nice and safe.